Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. Brian Carson stood alone. The sound of his locker door closing was loud in the empty space. The noise echoed, then his gray hoodie made a soft sound as he crossed his arms. He watched the Simmons twins walk by in their bright cheerleader uniforms. They looked the same. Their light laughter filled the air, leaving Brian confused but interested. When the twins' voices faded, Brian leaned against his locker. The metal felt cold compared to his busy thoughts. He felt something inside, a feeling stronger than jealousy, a mix of wanting and respect. Then someone stood next to him. It was his sister, Carol. "You've been daydreaming a lot lately." Brian shrugged. "I'm just tired." Carol looked at him, her training in psychology showing. "Mom asked me to remind you about dinner. She made your favorite casserole." "The one with breadcrumbs on top?" Brian felt a little better. "That's the one." Carol put her leather bag on her shoulder. "She also said you should meet her friend's son. Brad? Brett? Some name that starts with B." Brian's stomach twisted. "Not interested." "I figured." Carol's voice softened. "You know you can talk to me about anything, right? No judgment?" The bell rang before Brian could respond. Students flooded the hallway, and Carol disappeared into the crowd. Brian pulled his hood up and headed for the exit, avoiding eye contact with everyone. At home, the two-story colonial felt too quiet. Brian dropped his backpack by the door and found his mother in the kitchen, still wearing her navy worksuit. Felicia Carson looked up from chopping vegetables, her auburn hair catching the afternoon light. "There's my handsome boy," she beamed. "How was school?" "Same as always." Brian slumped into a chair at the breakfast bar. "Well, I have exciting news. Remember my friend Janet from book club? Her son Bradley just transferred to State University, and I thought..." "Mom, please." Brian ran his hands through his short brown hair. "I told you I'm not interested in dating right now." Felicia's knife paused mid-chop. "Honey, you're 18. It's perfectly normal to want to meet people, unless..." She set the knife down. "Is there something you want to tell me?" "No." The lie tasted bitter. "Because if you liked boys, that would be perfectly..." "I don't like boys." The words exploded out of him. "I don't like anyone, okay? Can we just drop it?" Felicia's face fell. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to push." Brian stood abruptly. "I have homework." In his room, Brian locked the door and leaned against it. His walls were bare except for a few movie posters, nothing that revealed anything real about him. He walked to his closet and pushed aside the hanging shirts to reveal a small cardboard box hidden in the back corner. Inside lay his secrets, a tube of mascara he'd bought with cash 3 towns over, a lipstick in soft pink, and a hair clip with tiny rhinestones. Such small things, but they felt enormous in his hands. A knock interrupted his thoughts. "Brian?" Carol's voice came through the door. "Can I come in?" Brian shoved the box back into hiding. "What do you want?" "Just checking on you. That scene downstairs seemed pretty intense." Brian unlocked the door. Carol entered, still wearing her purple cardigan, and sat on the edge of his bed. "Mom means well," Carol said. "She just wants you to be happy." "I know." Brian sat at his desk chair, spinning it slightly. "But her idea of happy and mine are different." "Want to talk about it?" Brian stared at his hands. "You ever feel like you're wearing a costume? Like everyone sees this person who isn't really you?" Carol leaned forward. "Sometimes. Is that how you feel?" "Every day." The admission felt like jumping off a cliff. "I look in the mirror and see a stranger. That must be really hard." Brian met her eyes. "You studied psychology. What's wrong with me?" "Nothing's wrong with you." Carol's voice was firm. "Sometimes our outside doesn't match our inside. That's not wrong, it's just challenging." "But what if..." Brian's voice dropped to almost a whisper. "What if the inside is completely different? What if everything about me is a lie?" Before Carol could answer, Felicia called up the stairs. "Dinner in 5 minutes?" Carol stood. "We'll continue this later, okay? And Brian, you're not alone." The week crawled by. Brian went through the motions, classes, homework, family dinners, but felt increasingly disconnected. Friday arrived with Felicia announcing a weekend business trip. "Carol, you're in charge." Felicia zipped her overnight bag. "There's money for pizza on the counter." "Got it covered, Mom." Carol hugged her goodbye. Brian watched from the staircase as their mother's car disappeared down the street. The house felt different now, not empty, but full of possibility. "I'm going out with friends tonight," Carol announced, grabbing her purse. "Will you be okay alone?" "Yeah, fine." Carol hesitated at the door. The Simmons twins mentioned they might stop by to drop off some fundraising stuff for the cheer squad. Something about candy sales? Why would they come here? "I may have volunteered to help coordinate." Carol shrugged. "If they show up, just take whatever they're selling. Money's in the kitchen drawer." The door closed, leaving Brian alone. He waited exactly 10 minutes, long enough to ensure Carol wouldn't return for forgotten keys or phone, then headed upstairs. Carol's room smelled like vanilla and jasmine. Brian had been in here countless times, but tonight felt different. His heart pounded as he opened her closet. There it hung, Carol's old cheerleader uniform from high school, red and white, just like the ones the Simmons twins wore. His hands shook as he took it off the hanger. In the bathroom, Brian stared at his reflection. Short brown hair, stubbled jaw, broad shoulders, everything wrong. He picked up Carol's razor and shaving cream. 20 minutes later, smooth-faced and trembling, Brian returned to the bedroom. The uniform slipped on easier than expected. The skirt fell just above his knees, and the top stretched slightly across his chest. In Carol's drawer, he found what he needed to fill out the uniform properly. The makeup came next. Foundation to smooth his skin, mascara to darken his lashes, the pink lipstick from his hidden stash. His hands moved with surprising confidence, as if they'd always known these motions. Finally, the wig. Carol had worn it for Halloween 2 years ago, long auburn waves that fell past the shoulders. Brian adjusted it carefully, securing it with bobby pins. The person in the mirror was unrecognizable. Brian stared, transfixed. For the first time in memory, the reflection didn't feel wrong. The red uniform hugged curves that shouldn't exist, but somehow did. The auburn hair framed a face that looked softer, prettier, right. "Oh my God!" The voice sounded different too, higher, breathier. No, not Brian, not in this moment, spun slowly, watching the skirt flare. A laugh bubbled up, genuine and free. This was it. This was the feeling that had been missing. The front door slammed. Panic shot through every nerve. Carol wasn't supposed to be home for hours. Footsteps on the stairs, multiple sets. "Hello? Anyone home?" That wasn't Carol's voice. The bedroom door burst open. Brandy and Brenda Simmons stood in the doorway, identical expressions of shock on their faces. They wore matching pink sweaters and white jeans. "Oh my God." Brandy's mouth hung open. "Brian?" Brenda stepped forward. "Is that you?" Death would have been preferable to this moment. Brian wanted to run, to hide, to disappear entirely. Instead, frozen in place, all that emerged was a whispered, "Please don't tell anyone." The twins exchanged glances. Then, impossibly, Brandy smiled. "Tell anyone what?" She entered the room and closed the door behind them. "That we found our sister trying on clothes?" "Sister?" The word hit like a physical blow. Brenda sat on the bed, patting the space beside her. "Honey, we've known for months. The way you look at us during practice, how you always notice our uniforms, our hair, our makeup. I wasn't..." "It's okay." Brandy joined them on the bed. "Actually, we need to tell you something. Carol asked us to come by tonight." "She what?" "She's been worried about you." Brenda took Brian's hand. When had nail polish appeared on those nails? "She asked if we'd noticed anything, and... well, we had." "This is a setup?" "More like an intervention." Brandy smiled. "A gentle one." The front door opened again. This time it was Carol's voice. "I'm back. Forgot my wallet." Footsteps on the stairs. Carol appeared in the doorway, taking in the scene with zero surprise. "Hi, sweetie." She entered and sat on the desk chair. "You look beautiful." You knew. It wasn't a question. "I suspected. The hidden makeup, the way you light up around anything feminine, how miserable you've been pretending." Carol leaned forward. "But I needed you to take this step yourself." "So everyone knows?" Horror and relief warred in Brian's chest. "Not everyone." Brenda squeezed the hand she still held. "Just us, and we need to tell you something else." The twins shared another look. Brandy took a deep breath. "We're not just randomly here. Carol's not just worried about you. We're family." "What?" Carol stood and moved to the bed. "Mom doesn't know I know, but I found some papers years ago. Dad had an affair. The twins are our half-sisters." The room spun. "That's impossible." "Same dad, different mom." Brenda shrugged. "We've known since we were kids. Our mom told us the truth when we asked why we spent so many weekends at the Carson house. All those times Mom said you were family friends." "Technically true," Brandy grinned. "Just closer family than anyone admitted." Brian's mind raced. "So you're my sisters? All three of you?" "Which means," Carol said softly, "you're our sister too, if that's what you want." The tears came then, hot and sudden. Years of confusion, shame, and loneliness poured out while 3 sets of arms wrapped around the sobbing figure in the cheerleader uniform. "I don't even know who I am," Brian choked out between sobs. "Then let's figure it out together." Carol stroked the auburn wig. "What do you want us to call you?" The answer came without thought. "Brianna, I've always liked that name." "Brianna," Brenda tested it out. "It's perfect." "Brianna Carson," Brandy grinned. "Our baby sister." "But what about Mom, school, everyone else?" "One step at a time." Carol pulled back to look at Brianna's face. "Tonight, you just be yourself. We'll figure out the rest together." They spent hours talking. The twins shared their own struggles with identity and acceptance. Carol explained how her psychology studies had helped her recognize the signs. They painted nails, fixed makeup, and most importantly, listened. "You know," Brenda said as midnight approached, "that wig is cute, but have you thought about growing out your natural hair?" Brianna touched the auburn strands. "I bought this because it reminded me of Mom's hair color. I wanted to look like I belonged." "Honey," Brandy laughed, "you already belong. But if you want auburn hair, we know an amazing colorist." "You'd help me?" "That's what sisters do." Carol pulled out her phone. "I'm texting Marcus now. He owes me a favor." The weekend became a transformation marathon. Saturday morning found Brianna in a salon chair, watching her natural brown hair become rich auburn under Marcus's expert hands. The stylist, wearing a black smock over his designer jeans, worked magic with highlights and extensions. "Gorgeous!" He spun the chair. "That color was meant for you." Brianna stared at the reflection. The auburn hair fell in soft waves past her shoulders. Not a wig, but her own hair transformed. "It's perfect." "Just wait." Marcus winked. "We're not done yet." Hours later, Brianna emerged with shaped eyebrows, pierced ears, and professional makeup application. The twins had raided their closets, creating a wardrobe spread across Carol's bed. "This green dress would look amazing with your coloring." Brenda held up the garment. "Or this blue skirt set." Brandy added another option. "I don't know how to thank you all." "Be happy." Carol appeared with a camera. "That's thanks enough? Now fashion show." They tried everything. Dresses, skirts, blouses, even another cheerleader uniform. This one in the current squad colors. Each outfit felt like shedding another layer of the false self. "We should plan for Monday," Carol said during a break. "School's going to be challenging." "I can't go to school like this." Fear crept back in. "Why not?" Brandy crossed her arms. "You're 18. You have rights." "But everyone knows me as Brian." "Then they'll get to know Brianna." Brenda's voice was firm. "We'll be right there with you. All of us." Carol pulled out a notebook. "Let's make a plan. First, we need to talk to the administration." They strategized late into the night. Carol would contact the guidance counselor she knew from her internship. The twins would spread the word carefully among the cheer squad. Brianna would need new documentation, medical consultations, and most importantly, courage. Sunday arrived too quickly. Felicia would return that evening, and Brianna paced Carol's room in a pink sundress and white sandals. What if she kicks me out? She won't. Carol adjusted Brianna's necklace. Mom loves you. She loves Brian. No, Brandy interrupted from the doorway. She loves her child. The name and presentation don't change that. Besides, Brenda added, we've got backup plans if needed. Our mom's already offered her guest room. Your mom knows? We called her last night. Brandy grinned. She said it's about time. Apparently she suspected too. The sound of a car in the driveway froze everyone. Felicia was home. Ready? Carol asked. Brianna smoothed the pink dress and tucked an auburn strand behind her ear. No, but let's do it anyway. They descended the stairs together, a united front. Felicia stood in the entryway, still holding her overnight bag. Her eyes widened, taking in the scene. Mom? Carol started. We need to talk. Felicia's gaze locked on Brianna. For a heart-stopping moment, no one moved. Then Felicia set down her bag. That's my dress. Her voice was unreadable. I'm sorry, It looks better on you. Felicia stepped forward. The color goes perfectly with your hair, auburn, just like mine. Mom? Felicia cupped Brianna's face in her hands. How long have you been hiding this from me? Forever. The word came out cracked. Oh, sweetheart. Felicia pulled her youngest into a fierce hug. I'm so sorry you felt you had to hide. A mother should know. I should have seen. You're not angry? Angry? No. Heartbroken that you suffered alone? Yes. Felicia pulled back, tears streaming. What do I call you now? Brianna. Brianna. Felicia smiled through her tears. My beautiful daughter. I always wanted another girl. The group hug that followed included everyone. Even the twins cried, and Brandy never cried. So, Felicia finally said, tell me everything. And girls, I know you're my husband's daughters. We should probably address that too. The evening became a truth festival. Secrets unveiled, relationships acknowledged, and a family restructured itself around honesty. Felicia took the twin revelation remarkably well. I've suspected for years, she admitted. You all have the same nose, but your mother and I decided it was better to keep things quiet. Maybe that was wrong. Water under the bridge, Brenda waved it off. We're all here now. As a proper family, Felicia raised her wine glass. To new beginnings. Monday morning arrived with Brianna standing before the mirror in Carol's room. The navy skirt and white blouse felt like armor. Her auburn hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and small silver studs decorated her ears. You've got this. Carol appeared behind her in the reflection. I spoke to Mrs. Peterson. She's expecting us. Us? You think I'm letting you do this alone? Carol grabbed her purple cardigan. Come on, baby sister. Time to show the world who you really are. The school hallways seemed longer than usual. Every eye felt like a spotlight. But true to their word, the twins flanked Brianna like bodyguards in their matching red cheer uniforms. Breathe, Brandy whispered. You're doing great. Mrs. Peterson waited in the guidance office, her gray suit and kind eyes offering reassurance. Brianna, I'm so glad to meet you. Carol's told me a lot about you. Thank you for seeing us. Of course. Now let's talk about making your transition as smooth as possible. The meeting covered everything. Bathroom usage, name changes on records, potential bullying protocols. Mrs. Peterson proved unexpectedly knowledgeable and supportive. We've had transgender students before, she explained. You're not alone in this. Really? Really, and the principal fully supports inclusive policies. We'll make sure you're safe and respected. Leaving the office, Brianna felt pounds lighter. The hallways still held challenges, but also possibilities. See? Brenda bumped her shoulder. Told you it would work out? Classes proved interesting. Some teachers adapted immediately, others stumbled over pronouns. Students' reactions ranged from confusion to curiosity to acceptance. By lunch, exhaustion weighed heavy. You're doing amazing. Carol appeared with a lunch tray. "How are you holding up?" "Tired, but good?" "It gets easier." A voice interrupted. A girl with short black hair sat down uninvited. She wore ripped jeans and a band t-shirt. "I'm Morgan." Transitioned 2 years ago. "There are others?" Morgan laughed. "More than you'd think. We tend to find each other." By the end of the day, Brianna had collected 3 new phone numbers and an invitation to a support group, not the reaction she'd feared at all. Weeks passed. Brianna's confidence grew with each day lived authentically. The auburn hair grew longer, now reaching mid-back. Hormone therapy began under medical supervision. Her body slowly shifted, matching the inner truth. "You're glowing," Felicia commented over dinner one evening. "I haven't seen you this happy since you were little." "I feel like myself." Brianna tucked auburn hair behind her ear. "Finally." "Good, because I signed you up for driving lessons. Your license still says Brian." "You did?" "New name, new license photo." Felicia winked. "Can't have my daughter carrying incorrect ID." The DMV trip became another milestone. Brianna Carson, F, auburn hair, hazel eyes. Official documentation of an authentic life. Spring arrived with unexpected opportunities. The cheer squad, influenced by the twins, invited Brianna to try out. "You already know all our routines," Brandy pointed out. "You've been watching us for years. That's different than performing them." "Just try." Brenda tossed her a practice uniform. "What's the worst that happens?" The worst didn't happen. Instead, Brianna discovered a natural grace that had been hiding under years of forced masculine movement. She made the squad. "Congratulations!" Carol snapped photos at the announcement. "Our baby sister, the cheerleader." "Who would have thought?" Brianna spun in the new uniform, red and white perfectly complementing her auburn waves. Prom approached with its own challenges. While classmates stressed about dates, Brianna focused on the experience itself. "You have to go," Brandy insisted. "Senior prom only happens once." "I don't have a date." "So, neither do I." Morgan appeared at their lunch table. "We could go together, as friends." "Really?" "Really. Besides, I want to see you in formal wear." Dress shopping became an event. Felicia, Carol, and the twins turned it into a production. Brianna tried dozens of options before finding the one, an emerald green gown that made her auburn hair shine like fire. "That's it," Felicia declared. "You look like a princess." "I feel like one." Prom night exceeded expectations. Brianna danced with friends, took countless photos, and felt like she belonged. The girl in the mirror wore an emerald dress and a genuine smile. Auburn curls cascaded over bare shoulders. This was who she was meant to be. "Having fun?" Morgan asked during a slow song. "The best night." Brianna meant it. Graduation day dawned bright and clear. Brianna adjusted her cap over carefully styled auburn hair. The white gown felt like a blank slate for the future. "Ready?" Carol peeked into the room, wearing her own cap and gown for her master's ceremony later. "For graduation?" "Yes, for what comes next. No idea." "That's the fun part." Carol hugged her tight. "You get to figure it out as yourself." The ceremony passed in a blur. When they called Brianna Carson, the cheers from her section were deafening. Felicia cried. The twins whooped. Carol took approximately 1,000 photos. "We're so proud of you," Felicia whispered afterward. "My beautiful, brave daughter." Summer brought college preparations. Brianna had been accepted to State University, the same school where Carol was pursuing her doctorate. A fresh start where most people would only know Brianna. "You'll love campus," Carol promised, "and I'll be nearby if you need anything." "I still can't believe this is real." Brianna touched her acceptance letter. "Believe it." Brandy appeared with boxes. "Now come on, we need to pack your dorm stuff." The twins had decided to attend State as well, cementing the sister squad's continuation. Dorm shopping became another bonding experience, picking out bedding and decorations that reflected Brianna's style. "No more hiding who you are." Brenda held up string lights. "Your room should scream, 'Brianna lives here.'" Move-in day arrived too quickly. Brianna stood in her new dorm room, boxes stacked everywhere. Her roommate hadn't arrived yet, leaving her alone with her thoughts. "Knock, knock," a familiar voice called. Morgan stood in the doorway with her own boxes. "Guess who requested to room together?" "You're my roommate?" "Surprise! Figured you might want a friend who understands." They spent the day arranging their space. Brianna's side featured soft pastels and photos from the past year. Each image showed her transformation, not just physical, but the growing confidence and joy. "You've come so far," Morgan observed, looking at a cheer squad photo. "Sometimes I can't believe it myself." Brianna touched her auburn hair, now her signature feature. "A year ago, I was dying inside. And now? Now I'm living." Classes started with new challenges and opportunities. Brianna declared a psychology major, inspired by Carol's support. The coursework fascinated her, especially gender studies and identity development. "Following in my footsteps?" Carol asked over coffee between classes. "Maybe. I want to help other kids like me, kids who are hiding." "You'd be amazing at that." Fall semester flew by. Brianna joined the college cheer squad, made new friends, and discovered dating wasn't as scary when you were comfortable in your own skin. A boy from her statistics class asked her to coffee. "His name's David," she told the sister squad over video chat. "He's sweet." "And?" Brandy demanded details. "And we're taking it slow. He knows about my transition." "Good," Felicia chimed in from off-screen. Honesty is essential. Winter break brought everyone home. The Carson house filled with laughter and stories. Brianna helped cook in her burgundy sweater and black leggings, auburn hair pinned back. "Remember last year?" Carol asked, chopping vegetables. "You were so scared to tell Mom." "Best decision I ever made." Brianna hugged Felicia from behind. "Thanks for accepting me." "Thank you for trusting me with your truth." Felicia squeezed her hand. "I love you, Brianna, exactly as you are." The twins burst through the door in matching green coats, arms full of presents. "Sister Christmas begins now!" They'd started a new tradition. Sister Christmas Eve, just the four of them. They watched movies, painted nails, and talked until dawn. Brianna gave each sister a necklace with 4 hearts linked together. "For our weird, wonderful family," she explained. "I'm not crying," Brandy insisted, clearly crying. Spring semester brought new growth. Brianna's relationship with David deepened. She excelled in her courses. The auburn hair now reached her waist, often worn in intricate braids Brenda taught her. "You're thriving," Carol observed during a study session. "I feel complete." Brianna struggled for words. "Like all the pieces finally fit." "Because you're not trying to force them into the wrong picture anymore." One evening, Brianna sat in her dorm window, watching campus life below. Morgan was out with friends. The room was quiet, giving space for reflection. Her phone buzzed. A text from a number she didn't recognize. "Hi, my name's Emma. Mrs. Peterson gave me your number. I'm a junior at your old high school, and I'm struggling with gender stuff. She said you might be willing to talk?" Brianna smiled, remembering her own fears and confusion. She typed back, "Hi, Emma. I'd be happy to talk. Want to grab coffee this weekend?" The meeting with Emma reminded Brianna how far she'd traveled. The scared junior looked like Brian had. Hunched shoulders, baggy clothes, eyes that wouldn't meet anyone's gaze. "I don't know if I'm trans," Emma admitted quietly. "I just know something's wrong." "Let's not worry about labels yet," Brianna suggested. "Tell me how you feel." They talked for 3 hours. Brianna shared her journey, careful not to prescribe but to support. When they parted, Emma stood a little straighter. "Thank you," Emma whispered, "for showing me it's possible. Text me anytime." Brianna hugged the younger student. "You're not alone." Summer arrived with internship opportunities. Brianna landed a position at a youth counseling center, specifically working with LGBTQ+ teens. The work challenged and fulfilled her. "You're a natural," her supervisor commented. "The kids really connect with you." "I remember being where they are." Brianna filed paperwork in her yellow sundress. Scared and sure nobody could understand. The twins visited during a break, dragging Brianna to the beach. They lay on towels, Brianna finally comfortable in a turquoise bikini that showed the changes hormones had brought. "Remember when you wouldn't even wear shorts?" Brenda asked. "Different person." Brianna adjusted her sunglasses. "Literally, according to my ID. Same sister, though." Brandy threw an arm over her. "Just happier." Senior year began with Brianna as resident advisor in her dorm. The position let her support other students navigating identity issues. Her door stayed open for anyone needing to talk. "You've become the person you needed," Carol observed during dinner. "I'm so proud." "Learned from the best." Brianna raised her water glass. "To big sisters who see you." David proposed at graduation. Nothing fancy, just the two of them by the campus lake where they'd had their first real date. Brianna's yes came without hesitation. "I want a long engagement," she clarified. "There's still so much I want to do." "Whatever timeline works for you." David kissed her gently. "I'm not going anywhere." The ceremony felt different this time. Brianna walked across the stage in her black gown, auburn hair crowned with honors cords. The girl accepting her diploma bore no resemblance to the miserable boy from 5 years ago. "Brianna Marie Carson," the dean announced. "Summa cum laude, psychology." The cheers from her section could probably be heard from space. Felicia sobbed openly. The twins performed an impromptu cheer routine. Carol whistled loud enough to pierce eardrums. Graduate school applications had already been submitted. Brianna planned to follow Carol's path, doctorate in psychology with a focus on gender identity counseling. The acceptance letters started arriving within weeks. "Harvard?" Felicia stared at the letter. "My baby got into Harvard?" Among others. Brianna tried to play it cool but failed. "I haven't decided yet." "What's to decide?" Brandy grabbed the letter. "It's Harvard!" The decision took weeks. Each school offered different opportunities. Finally, Brianna chose Columbia, close enough to maintain family connections, but far enough for independence. "New York City," David smiled. "I can work with that." "You'd move with me?" "Brianna, I'd move anywhere with you." He tucked an auburn strand behind her ear. "You're my person." The summer before graduate school became a whirlwind. Moving preparations, wedding planning discussions, and precious time with family. Brianna worked full-time at the counseling center, saving money and gaining experience. One afternoon, Emma stopped by. The change was remarkable. Confident posture, authentic style, bright smile. "I started hormones," Emma announced. "And I chose my name, Evelyn." "Evelyn." Brianna tested it. "Beautiful. How are you feeling?" "Terrified, excited, free." Evelyn laughed. "You warned me it would be complicated." The best things usually are. They talked about the journey ahead, challenges Evelyn would face, joys she'd discover. Brianna gave advice while respecting that each path was unique. "Thank you," Evelyn said before leaving, "for being the first person to see me. We see ourselves in each other." Brianna hugged her tight. That's how we survive and thrive. Moving day arrived in a chaos of boxes and tears. The entire family descended on New York to help Brianna settle into her graduate housing. The small apartment felt enormous with possibility. "I can't believe my baby's going to be a doctor," Felicia arranged dishes in the cabinet. "Not that kind of doctor," Brianna laughed. "Still counts," the twins shouted in unison, hanging pictures. Carol directed traffic with military precision. "Bookshelf goes there, desk by the window. Brianna needs good light for studying." By evening, the apartment looked like home. Photos covered one wall, a timeline of transformation. Boy Brian looked like a stranger now, while each subsequent image showed Brianna emerging and blooming. One more gift. Carol pulled out a wrapped frame. "From all of us." Inside was a professional photo from Brianna's college graduation. She stood in the center, auburn hair glowing in sunlight, surrounded by her mother and sisters. Everyone radiated joy. "For when you're homesick," Brenda explained. "I'm already homesick." Brianna wiped her eyes. "And you haven't even left yet." The goodbye hugs lasted forever. Promises to visit, call, and text constantly. Then Brianna stood alone in her apartment, New York buzzing outside her window. She walked to the mirror, a habit now, checking her reflection not with disgust, but with satisfaction. The woman looking back had auburn waves, kind eyes, and a gentle smile. She wore a simple blue dress that flowed naturally over her curves. "Hi, Brianna," she whispered to her reflection. "Ready for the next adventure?" The answer was yes. Ready for graduate school, for helping others find themselves, for building a life with David, for whatever came next. The journey from Brian to Brianna had been challenging, sometimes painful, but ultimately liberating. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.